Vinton police. Roanoke police have identified the woman who died in a crash on Saturday morning. Officers responded to a single-vehicle crash on the 2000 block of Dale Avenue Southeast. The vehicle struck a tree in the median while traveling westbound, resulting in severe injuries to the woman, who was later pronounced dead at the hospital. The deceased has now been identified as 51-year-old Kelly McGinnis Phoenix of Roanoke. Meanwhile, Roanoke police have identified the woman fatally struck in traffic back in mid-January as 38-year-old April Dawn Reagan of Roanoke. On the evening of January 14th, officers arrived at Melrose Avenue and Peck Street Northwest after she was hit by a vehicle. She died on site. Initial findings suggest that Reagan entered the eastbound lanes of Melrose Avenue from a convenience store parking lot and was struck. The driver stayed on the scene, cooperated with authorities, and is not facing charges. And that's your news update. From the Virginia Talk Radio Network, I'm Bill Trefiro.
This is Boomer Esiason with the Sports Minute, sponsored by Tax Slayer. Get your max refund at taxslayer.com and file fearlessly. Andy Reid was an assistant at Texas El Paso, and Patrick Mahomes wasn't born when Pat Riley, fresh off of his Lakers' second straight title, had a brainstorm. He trademarked the term three-peat. Riles has cut a deal allowing the Chiefs to use it if they win. I'm Boomer Esiason.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund has belonged to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things people love.
Good morning. Time to get ready for your day with the morning warm-up with Trey Lyle. Join us live on VTRN Sports 93.3 FM or the VTRN Sports app. Open VTRN Sports on your smart speaker or stream live on YouTube. Time to get ready for your day with the morning warm-up with Trey Lyle and Ty Tracy.
7:03 on this Wednesday, February 5th. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Ty.
Yes.
Something I want to monitor because apparently the Mavs got better in the short term versus the Lakers in the Luka Doncic trade.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers are 1-0. The Mavs are 0-2 since the Luka Doncic trade. So we'll see. That's all I got to say about it so far. Lakers win last night 122-97 against the Clippers with no Luka. And then the Mavs with obviously no AD win 118-116 or lose 118-116 to Ed Lane's Philadelphia 76ers. And the returning Joel Embiid, who gets a triple-double. We don't need to mention. The only thing I want to talk about in the NBA is Kevin Durant really going to get traded? Because the news yesterday is KD was downgraded to doubtful against the Thunder on Wednesday. And there are rumors that the Warriors are being very aggressive in going after a superstar, in particular between Jimmy Butler and Kevin Durant. And if you're a Suns fan listening to that, and I guess the Suns want Jimmy Butler, blame Bradley Beal or Bray Ted Leonis, who is the owner of the Washington Wizards, who decided to give Bradley Beal a no trade clause, and they can't trade Bradley Beal because that's the worst. That's maybe the worst contract. Bradley Beal's getting paid like $50 million this year, and he has a no trade clause. Might be the worst contract in sports. It's either that or the Deshaun Watson contract, which could cost the Browns Myles Garrett.
I mean,
but
I highly doubt they'll trade KD.
I agree. I am very skeptical. It's Kevin Durant.
But you can't get a lot for KD, but either way, I highly doubt
All I know is this could include Draymond. The only way I would be excited about it is if they just like decide to remake the core of the Olympic team next year, and LeBron's like, I'm gonna opt out, which I don't think he will from the Lakers, go to the Warriors, and it's Steph, LeBron, and KD, and it's like we're all past our prime. We're gonna try to win a title. I think that would be cool, but I don't think it will happen.
I think LeBron will be the most hated man on this planet Earth. They're doing the
no
most.
Because of the Olympics. I think it will be people will love it.
That too, but
like
still.
because of that Olympic run.
Mm-hmm.
And how awesome it was to watch LeBron and Steph play with each other, I don't think it would be hated at all. Like, that's what, like, if you didn't have the Olympics, now if LeBron did this right after he was done with Cleveland, then yes. But this is like, like I'm not going to pick the Warriors to win the title next year, where their core is a 41-year-old, a 38-year-old, and a 5-year-old, right? So,
well, I could say it's KD. He's an automatically scorer, so you get this.
Yeah, but so Kevin Durant would be
30. Ain't he like 36?
He is 30. Yes, that's what I think that's it. I'm pulling it up. Wikipedia is doing some great work for. He's 36. You're right.
Okay,
So he'd be 37, 38, and then Steph Curry, I think is
34, 35.
He's 36 as well. So
oh wow.
So 37-year-old, a 37-year-old, and a 41-year-old is your core. I don't think that will work out. I just think it'd be cool. It'd be fun in 2K.
Yeah.
Which, granted, I didn't think Luke on the Lakers would be a 2K trade. But I just, interesting. Very interesting.
I mean, either way, it's like, I don't know. Can you depend on playing them every night?
Yeah,
somebody got to take off.
We're now recklessly speculating on it. All right. In college basketball, St. John's 70, Marquette 64. Do you know the team that's leading the Big East right now? Good old Rick Pitino and St. John's.
I was say, I know it's not. I
How
said
about the Johnnies?
I flex between them two.
Despite his recruiting strategies that maybe ended his time at Louisville, it is proven that Rick Pitino is a really good basketball coach, at least in college.
He always been a good basketball coach in college.
Yeah, I know. He didn't get fired because he was a bad basketball coach.
Yeah, I already know about that. Yeah,
he got fired because of certain recruiting strategies.
Yeah.
I was trying not to say what happened without saying what happened.
And I said violations to make it more better.
Other scores, Florida gets a win, 86-75 over former JMU coach Mark Byington and Vandy. Auburn keeps on cruising. They're undefeated in the SEC, which that's pretty impressive. Kentucky lost its soul since the loss to Arkansas because they lose to Ole Miss last night, 98-84. In the ACC, we'll get it locally here. Florida State gets a win, 67-60, and then upset. This is actually interesting. 3 overtimes. Georgia Tech 89, Clemson 86. Georgia Tech runs a short bench, so that could help Virginia, depending on how rested. Granted, they have a few days. They'll have 3 days off, but coming off a 3 overtime game, that could benefit Virginia a little bit when they take on Georgia Tech this weekend. Hokies play tonight against SMU. If we want to look at that game real quick, SMU should be a heavy favorite. The spread is actually 5.5. I'm shocked it's that little. SMU can be the more desperate team trying to make the NCAA tournament. They updated bracketology after we went off the air yesterday. So I said, What team did I said? What team was it that I said was that? Oh, Pitt.
Oh.
Pitt went to the first 4 out. Actually, it's been updated since last night or since the fast lane yesterday. And Pitt is at the last 4 in. So SMU at the next 4 out. So the ACC currently with Quattro Timos in the NCAA tournament. So Pitt, Clemson, Duke, and Louisville so far, and could get a few more depending on how the bubble works. We'll see. Hokies, I just want to see improved performance and then keep it a game. SMU is going to be the more desperate team. SMU is going to just need the win. It might be actually Q1 win because it's on the road. It's either going to be a Q1, Q2 win. I can't remember all the top of my head. So this could be a good opportunity for SMU. It would probably be a Q2 win. See, those things get inflated because when you play on the road. So
Yeah.
I think it would be, no matter what, it'd be a Q2 win for SMU. And that could help them a little bit in that one. Yesterday, Luka Doncic was officially announced as a Los Angeles Laker. Ty, did you watch the press conference at all?
A little bit. I watched a little bit of it.
You could tell, he was one, he was shocked he was there, but two, he is pissed.
Yeah.
He is pissed about what happened. And to me, he did not look like 270 pounds. Maybe he hit some Ozempic for the last couple days just to.
I was trying to figure where was the 270 pounds came from because I was like, that's not 270 I'm looking at.
He looked his normal self, and I know it's a little chubby and it's not perfectly conditioned, but he looked like a guy that was ready to be back on the floor, which it appears he will be Saturday based off of all the reports. So I still don't get this trade, man. NBA trade deadline's tomorrow. I'm never going to get this trade. I'm just never going to get it. And
Do you feel like Jimmy Butler might get out Heat, or he just might just suffer there more?
I mean, the report, it was funny. Chris Haynes reported that Jimmy is willing to get past this and come back to the team.
Oh, Lord.
And I was like, well, he clearly knows Bradley Beal ain't waiving that no trade clause. Other headlines, Caleb Martin traded to the Dallas Mavericks, Quentin Grimes. Well, those are marginal trades. We'll see that. And just
I ain't gonna lie. If Jimmy Butler gets suspended again, I ain't gonna lie. I can't be a Heat player because knowing me, I'll probably fight Jimmy Butler almost every single day for acting up.
He did try to fight Eric Spoelstra one year. So,
that's Eric Spoelstra. I'm talking about other players.
In other news from yesterday, we're extending our in case you missed the segment from 5 minutes to the first segment because it's Wednesday, it's Hump Day, where we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. Yesterday we talked Eagles offense versus Chiefs defense. Second segment we're going to talk about the big bad wolf, the Chiefs offense versus the Eagles defense, which is probably the more intriguing side given the units. But I talked a lot about this during the Happy Hour podcast, where you can check that out wherever you get your podcast, the Front Stretch YouTube page. But Xfinity is ending its title sponsorship of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. A lot of people, including me, who sort of made a joke, want the Busch Series, the name Busch, to responsor it and retitle it the Busch Series again. Of course, it was founded as the Grand National Series. Do they do something like that and bring that back? It'll be interesting to see how they do it because I think the Xfinity Series, as it currently stands, offers some of the best racing that we see in any motorsports, let alone NASCAR. So, but they also added the Xfinity Fastest Lap, which is going to be a bonus point for running the fastest lap in each race. And that's pretty interesting. It's, I think I love adding extra points. I just think it's needed. It probably increases the need for the regular season, being consistent and being fast. So that's always a good thing. So overall, we are now a week away from the duel. Or from qualifying for the Daytona 500. My days are off by one. So, a little over 24 hours from now, because it'd be at night, we'll be qualifying for the Daytona 500. So I'm almost back to my full schedule again, Ty. So yippee-ki-yay. Well, I am. We did happy hour last night. We're recording Bring the Heat tonight. So I'm back to my full-time grind during the season, which, I actually love to do with frontstretch.com and us here. And, I have some added responsibilities this season with the morning warm-up. So, having fun here. But, Ty, I know you're not the biggest NASCAR fan, so I'm not pressuring you. But I do think that we're in store for a fun season. Can you name 5 NASCAR drivers?
Like any.
I'll give you any.
Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kyle Busch.
Hey, that's a current one.
Well,
you said one name, just drop to the end of it.
Well, and Dale Earnhardt.
There we go.
I was going to do like another person, not like the same one. That's why I was thinking of another one. I was going to say, what's the name from Liberty NASCAR driver?
William Byron. There we go. We got you. I'm proud of you.
You understand? Like when I was little, like I used to like my great uncle used to watch the NASCAR. So like
the NASCAR.
I mean, he watched NASCAR, and so like I couldn't turn the TV. Like one time, I tried to turn the TV when he was asleep,
and you got in trouble.
Yeah, he threw a shoe at me.
Nice. I learned my numbers through NASCAR. While some people get upset that Bronny James hit a 3 last night in an NBA game, the other quote unquote GOAT's son got arrested for cocaine.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
So figure we should mention that.
That's crazy. I was like, that's crazy.
I think I made a joke. I think I was on the fast lane. I made the joke because I think Ed talked about this story, and I said, we talked about Bronny. He complained about Bronny, and I said, well, does that mean that Bronny's going to start dating Gabrielle Union in like 10 years? And if you don't get that joke, just Google Marcus Jordan and Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. Just Google that.
I know. I was like, 2025 been outstanding years so far.
What a start to this show. I mean, we might be going all over the place, but we're hitting the good stuff. All right, when we come back, we'll actually talk some football. We'll talk Chiefs offense versus the Eagles defense. Patrick Mahomes, I feel like he's a pretty good quarterback, Ty, versus Vic Fangio. And, I think this Eagles defense is pretty good as well. So, football talk next here on the Morning Warm Up.
You know a short drive will save you money when buying a car at Feller Chevrolet. You'll also save money on servicing your car at Feller Chevrolet. Their service team is certified to operate on all GM models, including Chevrolet. That means factory-trained expertise to offer truly necessary recommendations and service your car right the first time. And Feller Chevrolet also has a service team skilled at servicing non-GM cars. That way you'll still get premium service at reasonable prices. Experience how a short drive will save you money on servicing your car. Feller Chevrolet, Main Street in Alta Vista.
Your home is more than just walls and windows. It's where life happens. And at Right Choice Construction, we get that. We're not just builders. We're fathers, mothers, neighbors, just like you. And every nail and every beam reflects our commitment to creating a place you're proud to live in. With Right Choice Construction, you're choosing a team that's been perfecting the art of building for years. So build with us, build with experience, build with quality, build with Right Choice.
Ho, ho, ho! It's Christmas Eve, and Max and Daisy are busy decorating their exquisite tree.
Max, how high are you going with that star?
High enough so no cat can reach it.
Smart thinking. We don't want a repeat of last year.
Okay, Daisy, hit the lights.
Perfect.
Max and Daisy aren't just decking the halls, they're getting ready for something bigger.
What's next on our list?
Delivering gifts. Gifts of hope.
This Christmas, Max, Daisy, and their fellow guide dogs are heading out to change lives, bringing comfort and joy to those who need it most. Find hope at dogsinc.org. Ho, ho, ho!
Ready, Daisy?
Ready, Max. ready to give hope.
Hey y'all, Eli Winters here. I want to talk to you about something that's more important than ever, taking care of the wildlife around us. Our planet is home to some of the most amazing creatures you could ever imagine, from the biggest bears to the smallest birds and everything in between. But here's the truth. Many of these animals are in danger, habitats are disappearing, and we're losing species at a rate we've never seen before. If we want our kids and their kids to experience the magic of wildlife that we have today, it's on us to step it up and take action. You can make a difference. Learn more about wildlife conservation in your area and how you can help, whether it's supporting local wildlife refuges, reducing pollution, or simply taking a little time to appreciate the wild beauty around you. It all counts. This is Eli Winters. Let's make sure our wildlife is around for generations to come. Y'all take care of the earth and it'll take care of us. This message is courtesy of the United States Air Force.
Miss Fernandez, what are those tiny things?
Those are what we call amoebas. You can only see them through a microscope.
Wow.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, there's a funding crisis in public schools. Millions of kids go to schools that don't have funding for books, computers, and so much more just because of where they live. You can help change that. Donors Choose is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. You choose which supplies to support. You could provide first graders with pencils and paper, or other students with their first chapter books, help a music class get a guitar.
You could even supply a classroom like mine with a science project. But what you're really giving is the moment that sparks a brighter tomorrow.
To learn more, please visit DonorsChoose.org. That's DonorsChoose.org. Choose students. Shape the future.
Super Bowl 59 is set. It's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. And we will have it all for you on the Virginia Talk Radio Network. Coverage starts at 5 p.m. for the Super Bowl Megacast. You can catch special pregame coverage at 2 p.m. on VTRN Sports as well. Super Bowl 59 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Coverage starts at 5 p.m. on the Virginia Talk Radio Network, plus streaming live on the VTRN Sports app. Super Bowl 59 is set. It's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. And we will have it all for you on the Virginia Talk Radio Network. Coverage starts at 5 p.m. for the Super Bowl Megacast. You can catch special pregame coverage at 2 p.m. on VTRN Sports as well. Super Bowl 59 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Coverage starts at 5 p.m. on the Virginia Talk Radio Network, plus streaming live on the VTRN Sports app. VTRN Sports is brought to you by Feller Chevrolet. Feller Chevrolet, where a short drive will save you money. Feller Chevrolet, Main Street in Alta Vista.
Good morning. We are just getting your day started here on VTRN Sports with the morning warm-up. Stay connected at Trey Lyle VT and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the VTRN Sports app, or watch the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
7:24 on this Wednesday, February 5th. And if you couldn't tell, we're going to have a Super Bowl Megacast across the Virginia Talk Radio Network, 2 p.m., roughly 2 p.m. airtime. We're going to have some Virginia Tech women's basketball on Sunday. Airtime is when the coverage starts right here on VTRN Sports, 5 p.m. when the main broadcast starts across the entire Virginia Talk Radio Network, streaming live on the VTRN Sports app as well. So make sure you tune into that on Sunday. Yesterday, right here on the morning warm-up, Ty and I discussed the Eagles offense taking on the Chiefs defense. Now, I don't know about you, Ty. I think the most intriguing side is this Chiefs offense with Patrick Mahomes taking on the number one defense in the NFL, Vic Fangio and the Philadelphia Eagles. You have Mahomes, who's 8-0 against Vic Fangio, mostly with the Broncos, and you look at his quarterbacks, we're not good. I believe it was 10 touchdowns and like 3 interceptions or 2 interceptions, which for Mahomes to only give up 10 touchdowns in 8 games against Mahomes it's roughly 1.5 per game, 1.25 per game. So not bad.
Most definitely.
Looking at it, let's start with, I think the glaring thing is the Chiefs offensive line. They have an issue at right tackle and left guard with Joe Thuney. Whether they play Joe Thuney at left, if they play Joe Thuney at left guard, they'll put him at left tackle, and then their tackles become an issue. I'm assuming they'll just keep riding with Joe Thuney at left guard, which is insane. He's on if he went, like, this would be his 5th Super Bowl. Because he won a few with the Patriots, and now is winning with the Chiefs. And you think about it, they're right guard and center, really good offense. Trey Smith and then Creed Humphrey, and that's gonna be the matchup against Jalen Carter. Then you have Juwan Taylor, who's the most penalized tackle in the NFL, going against maybe the hottest edge rusher in the NFL in Nolan Smith. So working before we even get to Thanos, if you want to call him, or the guy, when you're looking at these offensive versus defensive line, it feels like Philadelphia has the advantage just because I don't trust major key parts of that Chiefs offensive line, despite the fact they have Mahomes back there. What do you think about that?
Golly, I feel like the Eagles, the defensive front, have to win every snap of the ball. I mean, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis, Josh Sweat, all of them.
And the Bills had success against on the defensive line.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they have to win. You got to think about it. That's a young core they got two up front on top of the Eagles, so that I think they're gonna have advantage and everything. So but I think who's gonna be in more bigger impact is probably between Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter.
And obviously, I mean, Jalen Carter basically finished the game off for them against the Rams. He had
the go ahead sack that
sack on 3rd down, and then the play on 4th down to force the bad throw on Stafford. Nolan Smith had that sack on 4th down against Jaden Daniels. Smith has 4.5 sacks this postseason. If you want to look at some numbers, the Chiefs are heavy RPO team. They run it the most. They are 6th in the NFL in success rate in it. It's going to be heavy RPOs. It is all about, disguising things, misdirection, and then, what they've used is get their guys who have speed, especially Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown, in space. So looking at the secondary, which has been a really good strength for Philadelphia this year, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Darius Slay, Reed Blankenship. And then you have the linebackers, obviously Zach Bond, Defensive Player of the Year finalist, and then Oren Burks, who I think played really well against Washington, considering the injury to Nakobe Dean. One thing that Philadelphia didn't do the last teams has played is they got fooled by misdirection and they didn't tackle in space. So I know every game, tackle in space is a key, but another key in this, honestly, because of the last time, and I think with Fangio, it's going to be different than with Johnny Gantz, Jonathan Gannon, the former defensive coordinator, now head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, where Sam Seifert came from, or the new Virginia Tech defensive coordinator. So if Ed's listening, there's my tie local for you. But it's going to be interesting because Fangio probably will play cover 2 shell, and it's going to be get the guys in space. So Ty, you actually played football.
Yes.
We got Philip, who's our intern. He played football. I am now slowly becoming even lower on the tiers of athletes here at the Virginia Talk Radio Network. But when you're playing a team that likes to use, and obviously I don't think you'll be offended when I say you never played athletes like on the Chiefs, because they're the best of the best.
I mean, I played a couple RPO teams.
But when you played an RPO team and you had a tackle in space, how difficult can that be? And what would be the keys you need to look at?
I mean, it can be difficult, but like I said, you have to rally to the ball, of course, and that's the Eagles so good at it. Rally to the ball. Like every time you see the Eagles on the field and you see a towel, you probably see at least like between like 5 to 6 Eagles helmets on the ball and everything. That tells you right there. But I'll say for the RPO, it's gonna be depends on the linebacker play and how they play and stuff. And I just feel like with the Eagles linebackers, I feel like they're really fast and they know. I think their they're gonna be the main reason to keep Pat Mahomes. Like I'd rather for him to give the ball up instead of just throwing it, find Kelsey, Juju Smith, or D Hollywood Brown and them, and James Worthy as well.
Xavier Worthy.
I don't know why I get James Worthy.
James Worthy.
I was like, where I get him from?
We have talked about the Lakers a lot this week.
Xavier Worthy as well, but I feel like it's going to be the main key for the linebackers to keep Pat Mahomes keep him read or like give the ball up the whole time. But I feel like the Zach Bond and Oren Burks is going to be a big impact because like think about last year when the 49ers played and you see what happened the first 4 plays, who was the main problem, right?
Yeah, and Drake Greenlaw goes out, and ironically, you know who replaced him in that Super Bowl?
Oren Burks.
There we go. Look at bam.
But you think about how that was.
But this time, Oren Burks is not going to be thrown in the moment. We know he's playing.
But you see what happened when them two played. They was causing a lot of problem with Pat Mahomes because they was really keep making Pat Mahomes give the ball up, and he was so confused because them linebackers are fast. So that's why I say it's going to be a huge difference because the Eagles linebackers are fast. And they'll go after it. They're going to read they're going to make Pat Mahomes read the whole time and have to give it up.
Yeah, and looking at the matchup, you look at the numbers, they're not – Kansas City's not really a rushing team, especially in big game Andy. He's going to keep the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hands, which I would too. You look at it, they use a lot of play action, 5th most play action, 8th most in motion, 9th most in shotgun. But they're going to be slow. They're 32nd in no huddle in running no huddle. So they're going to be slow. They're going to be methodic. They're going to use short passing, which, is what Vic Fangio wants you to do. So they're going to be in a lot of 12 and 13 personnel. They're going to be in a lot of 11 personnel. Like that's all of them.
I'll ask you one question. What's 12 personnel?
Isn't it 2 tight ends?
Say again. What's 12 personnel?
Isn't it 2 tight ends? I know, ball.
Okay. Everybody know what 11 personnel is. That's why I was like, everybody knows what 11. That's easy.
That's what? 3 receivers, 1 tight end.
Yeah, and 1 running back. Everybody knows 11.
And 22 is 2 running backs, right?
Yeah.
And 13 is 3 tight ends.
Yeah.
Ha! Because the 1 is for your running back, and the next number is your tight end.
Yeah.
I know ball.
I know you've seen a lot on the sidelines where you see like Virginia Tech coach, they throw the
well, all
the
I
cards.
know is I've listened to enough podcasts and football talks to now understand personnel.
I read what I would say a story. So one time while I was at UVA for a recruiting trip, me and Frankie and
Luvu?
Frankie.
Luvu.
Nah.
I'm just kidding.
So we was at UVA. We went to the spring practice and everything. That's when Eli Howard was there and everybody. And I forgot who was the coach during that time. It was our high school, like we was juniors. So we went up there and I'm like, what the defense side? I'm looking like, what does 12, 11 means? So I come back. I said, Coach Brad, what's 11 personnel? What's 12 personnel? He was like, that's the personnel on the offense. I was like, I never knew that the whole time. I'm just now finding this out. He's like, come on, Ty, how you know? And I was like, I don't know. Like, y'all tell me.
I play defense.
Like, how am I supposed to know? But yeah, that's how I started learning about it and everything. But either way, the Chiefs, I mean, I can see, I mean, you can't say, oh, we're going to stop them and everything, but you're going to have to make them work and put in an uncomfortable situation they haven't been for and everything.
I wonder if they'll blitz. I think they'll blitz more than they did against Jaden Daniels.
I don't think they wouldn't because they got
Fangio does not like to blitz.
Nah, and plus you got to think about the same thing with the Buffalo Bills did. They didn't blitz against Pat Mahomes during the during the regular season.
As seen on the other side, there will be a lot of blitzing when the Eagles are on offense. As
Oh
we
yeah,
talked about
definitely.
yesterday.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's gonna be a lot of blitzes on Steve Pagnuolo's defense because they're gonna try to put on Jalen Hurts under pressure and make it feel comfortable and do some dumb plays that he's
I
been
actually
doing.
think this is going to be a relatively quick game in terms of.
You think so?
I do, because both teams are going to want to control the ball. So I think the time of possession game, like Philadelphia's style is run game.
But Chiefs are they're explosive. They do explosive plays. They are though.
But not really. Not since they lost Tyreek. They're more of a short pass, screen pass. Like they're gonna run like the short motions, whip it out to Xavier Worthy, get him in space. And
but the only thing I say is this probably the best.
They're not throwing bombs like they used to with Tyreek. Like that's what they thought we were gonna do with Xavier Worthy, and maybe they would have if Rashee Rice doesn't tear his ACL. It's why I think the Chiefs are gonna be better next year, which is kind of scary to think about.
But I say the difference between the Bills DBs, but on Philadelphia's got way better DBs than the Bills and stuff.
Yeah, I think Philadelphia matches up well defensively, just in personnel.
And I think CJ Garner will be a big impact as well, because you got to think about where he was with us for the first time when we went to the Super Bowl. He was a big help on that defensive back.
And we want to compare to 2 years ago. Philadelphia personnel wise is just better defensively. They have a better secondary. They're better at linebacker. They're honestly better up front to some degree. We'll see if Brandon Graham plays in this game.
I think I ain't gonna lie.
I hope.
I would not be surprised he does.
Probably his
I'll
last
say
game.
this. I'll say this though. If he plays, they go put him inside.
And that's where, he made that infamous play against Tom Brady.
That too. And I'll say if he does, he's gonna play inside because he will be more disruptive and he probably put a lot of more pressure. Now you got Jalen Carter and Josh Sweat coming to edge and everything. And then you gonna have to leave Jalen Carter 1-on-1. So you had to pick your poison.
Yeah, we'll see what they do with Jalen. I think they're going to double Jalen a lot in this game.
So would you rather double Jalen or BG though? That's the
Jalen
main question.
Carter.
So you'll let BG disrupt you the whole time?
Well, I need to see Brandon Graham. No, because he's coming off a torn pec.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
In a short time frame. I need to see it from Brandon Graham.
But I feel like they go.
And it's also Jalen Carter still, like, no offense to Brandon Graham. Jalen Carter is like the only guy better at his position than Jalen Carter is the guy on the other side of the field.
That's Chris Jones. Of course, that's Chris Jones.
And that's a debate.
Yeah.
That's the only two. That's the top two defensive tackle. I'm blocking him. It's like Aaron Donald.
Yeah, that's true.
Notice, let's go back to the Rams game. The Rams double teamed Jalen Carter throughout the entire game. And the one time they didn't, it burned them.
Mm-hmm. But either way, you got Jordan Davis and what's his name?
Bill Williams.
Bill Williams. So that's what's like you really go ahead. And then add Brandon Grant. He's definitely gonna play. I can see it. That's what's like. It's gonna be like a 4-man rotation inside. It's gonna be disruptive. I think that's gonna be the key part is the inside right there.
But ultimately, what it probably will go down to is I will be shocked if this is not a close game.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bills were able to do this. It's just they did not score offensively.
It's just the only thing I think the Eagles defense remind me of like the 2013 or 13 Seattle defense.
The Legion of Boom?
Yes, when they did all this flying around and just hitting everybody, that's what it just remind me of.
That's I think I've seen a lot of comparisons to that defense, but ultimately what it's going to come down to, and in 2023, they weren't able to do it, even though it was a suspect holding call, which I guess it was.
Man, that ain't no suspect. That is definitely one to hold.
It was a call they did not call all game
because Juju's not that fast now.
So, but the Bills were able to get the stop, but offensively they weren't able to get it done. Patrick Mahomes is going to have the football to end the game, whether it's to score to take the lead or score to put the game away.
But do you think
he's going to have the football? Like, this is going to happen. And he has basically been perfect in those scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He's basically in his career in the playoffs been perfect.
Yeah, he has for real.
Can Philadelphia get the stop? And that's ultimately what it's going to come down to. We can talk about Jalen Carter. We can talk about the Eagles secondary. Can you stop the best quarterback in the NFL? I don't know.
I think they're more. I just think they're more disciplined.
We'll pick
That's
on Friday.
Thing. Yes,
I think Philadelphia's defensively is really going to match up well, and I can say that. And Mahomes still could beat them, and I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
So when we come back, Bryson Gordon right here on the Morning Warm Up.
Everyone wants to save money on their next car purchase, right? Well, listen up, because I have a way for you to save thousands. Right now, Volkswagen is offering 0% for up to 60 months on a new VW Tiguan with approved credit. Do you realize when you compare a 6.9% rate on $30,000, it can save you $5,730? Now, that's an opportunity you don't want to miss. Come by Terry Volkswagen today, before this deal is gone, and take a spin in this amazing SUV. Terry Volkswagen, you'll love our cars.
Welcome to the Villas at Oakwood. Our stunning community offers spacious, modern villas with top-of-the-line amenities. Enjoy views of the Peaks of Otter from your patio home. Connect with neighbors at our exclusive clubhouse. Discover your dream home today. Experience the maintenance-free lifestyle you deserve. Visit us just behind Bedford Memorial Hospital. Online at oakwoodvillas.com. Or just contact Robin Lee Sage, 434-238.
Are you a property owner looking to maximize your investment? Tired of the day-to-day hassles of managing your rental properties? Welcome to Brownstone Properties, where we take the stress out of property management. From tenant screening to maintenance and everything in between, we'll ensure your property shines.
Hello there.
Visit brownstoneproperties.com and come by our office, 3720 Old Forest Road in Lynchburg.
Allstate agent Donovan Howell is now serving Lynchburg. He lives and works here just like you. And with all kinds of local insurance advice, Donovan is someone you can count on to help you protect all that's good in your life. Donovan makes it easy to save on the quality protection you need, and he'll even help you do the switching and the paperwork for you.
Call or come by the Donovan Howell Allstate office in Windhurst today.
Around the table with Vicky. Just like gathering around the dinner table with loved ones and friends, we're here to share stories, insight, and inspiration. That's one of the things that we've learned together and as a family, that if you're evolving and if you're moving in the right direction with your business, it won't stay the same. And that's a little hard sometimes because you get used to certain people doing certain things. Then all of a sudden the next year you're sitting there and it's all new people and it's all new faces, but it's just part of the world of business.
That's a great point, because there's times I know that I've thought of at times where you have to have certain people, and certain people are so key to what you do. And like, how would you ever exist without, these certain things, or how you've always done it?
Pull up a seat and join our conversation. Around the Table with Vicky is my new local radio show and podcast discussing leadership, entrepreneurship, philanthropy, faith, and family. Saturdays at 10 a.m. on WIQO.
Hi, I'm Chuck from Aquatrack Adventures in Salem. The Virginia Talk Radio Network and InsaneRadioDeals.com have helped our company grow by sharing our company's message throughout Central and Southside Virginia. The gift cards and experiences sold on InsaneRadioDeals.com have brought us many new customers. If you're a business that wants to grow with a message that resonates and gets results, I highly recommend InsaneRadioDeals.com and the Virginia Talk Radio Network. Simply put, it works.
I don't even recognize myself anymore.
I'm really worried about him. His addiction. I haven't seen him like this. Ever.
Hey, look, I never wanted to start using. I knew the drill, but I was out of options.
I just want to tell him it's not your fault. There are people out there who can help. People who have felt your pain. They know what you're going through.
This has to stop. I'm losing everything. Everyone.
You've been strong your whole life. You can do this, but you have to reach out for help.
It's time. I can do this.
Addiction is a disease, and diseases need treatment.
Call Quit Drugs 321 now at 800-378-3508, 800-378-3508. That's 800-378-3508. Paid for by the Detox and Treatment Helpline.
Super Bowl 59 is set. It's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. And we will have it all for you on the Virginia Talk Radio Network. Coverage starts at 5 p.m. for the Super Bowl Megacast. You can catch special pregame coverage at 2 p.m. on VTRN Sports as well. Super Bowl 59 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Coverage starts at 5 p.m. on the Virginia Talk Radio Network, plus streaming live on the VTRN Sports app.
Good morning. We are just getting your day started here on VTRN Sports with the morning warm-up. Stay connected with the show at Trey Lyle VT and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the VTRN Sports app, or watch the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
Let me fix that. All right. Welcome into the morning warm-up, 7:46. And by fix that, I mean my camera on the live stream on youtube.com/@VTRN Sports Lynchburg, where you can see a man wearing a very ugly hat, Bryson Gordon. And if you don't know, it's a Boston Red Sox hat. Bryson Gordon at Bryson Gordon. He was on the fast lane yesterday talking a lot about Liberty, which we'll talk about in a few moments. But there's a couple things, sports world, I want to get his thoughts on. And
I think Bryson Gordon just wake up and say, I want to make Trey mad. Just wear the hat.
Yeah, he's doing it.
I know he'd be thinking about it.
That's right. Yeah.
I like it too.
Thank you, Ty.
Oh, yes. Good joke, Ty.
Look, I like Bryson. That's my man.
Okay.
Keep pulling out different Red Sox hats every week till the season starts.
No, and that's the only hopeful time for that team right now. So each guest each day and each guest we've had on, I've given them a Super Bowl proposal. Yesterday was Gatorade color. I went with yellow. I think you went with blue.
Yeah, I went with blue.
Okay, and I believe Dalton went with red. That is not the one I'm giving you, Bryson.
Oh.
This is actually some pretty big odds. Like no is minus 1,500, and yes is plus 750. So this might indicate your pick for the game if this happens. So not orange. That these two colors make orange. Red and yellow confetti drops down. There's a certain number 87. There's a certain pop star. And you just see, someone hand him something and boom, gets on one knee. Just if the Chiefs win, does Travis Kelce propose to Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl?
Oh, if he does, I think I will finally bite into all the conspiracies that the NFL is scripted, and that we're all just a pawn in Roger Goodell's game to get Travis Kelce, this mega superstar, and this and that. Yeah, we'll probably buy in. I don't think the Chiefs are going to win. I keep going back and forth. I don't know.
They're inevitable.
I don't know. The inevitable. I mean, I feel bad picking against them, but I don't think it'll happen. Because then I can have the Eagles win and still be good.
Well, you did have the Eagles in this place. You had them in the Super Bowl, so I have to give you credit there. So
come on, I saw it coming as the Bird Bowl this year. I still think the Ravens would have beat the Chiefs had they had the opportunity to. Obviously, they didn't get the opportunity to, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl at the start of the year. I mean, we'll see how I pick on. I might be switching that and picking with my heart on Friday, which it's Wednesday. So of course Bryson joins us to talk all things Liberty, but we're not even going to talk about that yet. I want to get your thoughts on. I don't even know how to relate this to Liberty, but like Luka, we texted a little bit about this. Luka Doncic got traded to the Lakers.
Luka Doncic got traded.
What did you think of that?
I thought it was fake at first. I mean, that's what I tweeted out at first. I honestly thought Shams got hacked. I mean, it was so late at night. There was no inkling of that being the case whatsoever. I'm a huge Bill Simmons fan. and Ryan Russillo fan. So I was listening to the trade value podcast they put out last week, and I mean they're talking about Luka, somebody who would never ever get touched, never ever get traded, this and that. I guess that's completely off the table for everybody in the NBA now, unless you're Wemby, I'm sure. But I think it's unbelievable. I think it's interesting because it makes the Dallas Mavericks, in my mind, better in the immediate short term. I think they're a
A
better
lot of people
team.
been saying that too. A lot of
I
people been
think they're
saying
a
that.
better team this year. I mean, they clearly are going to be probably the best defensive team in the West in the playoffs at this point. And so maybe they can beat the Thunder and get back to the finals with this insane defensive lineup. Maybe they can bully the Thunder around because the Thunder, have struggled at the center position without Chet. And so maybe they could do it this year. Obviously, 5 years from now, they're going to be in a completely different situation. They're probably going to be in a situation where they're going to be looking at draft picks 3 to 5 years from now, as opposed to maybe competing with Luca, who would have been only 28 3 years from now, which is insane to even think about. But I mean, if you're the Mavericks coach, maybe it works out and you steal a championship this first year
Poor
with a
Jason
West
Kidd.
that is kind of hit or miss, and you look like an absolute genius because you get a championship out of it. I'm not banking on that, but I think it's probably that's got to be what he's thinking, is that we're better right now.
I disagree with you. I have decided that I'm going to do my best to keep the records of the Mavs and the Lakers for the rest of the way, just to see. And the Lakers are 1-0 and the Mavs are 0-2. Granted, neither AD or Luka have played yet. Just saying. I know people have said they got better defensively. I just have seen a team led by Anthony Davis, and I've seen a team led by Kyrie Irving, and I've seen a team led by Luka Doncic and LeBron James. And I think the other two guys have had a lot more success when they're the leaders than the other two. So that's how I feel about that. So I'll take the Lakers. And if I'm in the minority, I'm okay with that, because especially if they do get Steven Adams, which we talked about, I believe yesterday, they are linked to, then I would feel even better about that as well. All right. Speaking of Liberty, I know you got to talk to Ed about it yesterday, but Liberty falls to Jacksonville State in a game that probably was just frustrating all around. They don't shoot the ball well. They only shoot 40% from the field, less than 30 from three. They don't really turn the ball over, only 8 turnovers. Let's look at this big picture. They are now 5-4 in conference. They are 2 games out of first. They have beaten Middle Tennessee this year, but unfortunately they did lose to Jacksonville State. If you had to put set odds on them being a top 2 seed in Conference USA, where would you put it?
Being a top 2 team in Conference USA, I think you got to be right at just below 50% at this point. I mean, given what they've shown us, through the halfway point of Conference USA, it's kind of like the football team. We had to take them a little bit at the face value that they've given us to this point. Jacksonville State looks like they've been probably the best overall team, even though the record indicates that. They still look like they've been the most complete team. Maybe, you could argue Liberty's as close margins they've looked good in, but it's going to be difficult. And you mentioned the benefit of having the top 2 seed. It's such a nice advantage because you get the extra day. And so that's something they're going to be fighting for. You asked me after tomorrow night, I will have a lot better idea, because I think this game is really going to be a big. It's going to have a lot to say as far as tiebreakers go down the stretch. These teams, Louisiana Tech and Liberty, who are going to be facing off at Liberty Arena tomorrow night, it looks like they're going to be. I think those are 2 of the top 3 most quality teams in the league, and so it'll go a long way for tiebreaker. I think a win tomorrow night would be huge for Liberty and probably push that a little bit over 50%. But for now, I mean, I'd put it right below 50% that they're probably going to be a top 2 seed. It's a tough way. You're probably going to have to get to, I'm thinking maybe 13 wins to feel comfortable about that. And so 6-3 over the last 9 isn't crazy. It definitely starts with a win tomorrow night.
Yeah, so you look at that game against Louisiana Tech, who they're tied with, and along with UTEP, a team they've already beaten, Western, the team that in Kennesaw, 2 of those teams they've beaten in UTEP and Kennesaw, or UTEP and I'm getting my teams mixed up. UTEP, they lost to. They beat Western and Kennesaw State, or they lost to Western. God, I'm blanking on teams right now. This is Trey Lyle in the morning, folks. But how important is it just the fact that they've shown more struggles on the road than they have at home? Like, take advantage of when you're playing these top teams at home, because the getting swept by those teams are even worse than just splitting. So Do you think it's a bigger factor that the opponent or the fact that it's the opponent at home?
I think it's in this case of Louisiana Tech, it's the opponent at home, and that mainly comes from the fact that it's a tough place to play at Louisiana Tech, and it would look that way whenever they were there last time. It was the second half that, if I remember correctly, got away. It was kind of like the Jacksonville State half, where they really went downhill against the Flames a lot offensively. They really tried to go after Liberty's guards, Caden Matheny and Colin Porter, and I think that's something that Liberty's going to have to try to navigate at home. They'll get the benefit of those calls a little bit more. You never know. But I think that's something they're going to have to navigate against these teams who seem to have figured out a game plan in the second half against them. And some of these Conference USA games, we've seen them struggle in the second half in general against a lot of these teams. I looked it up yesterday. I think I have them as a minus 37 in the second half of Conference USA games. And that includes 3 games where they lost by more than 10 plus points in the second half. And so figuring out that at home is going to be huge for them. And Richie McKay, said it. If Liberty, you said had two road losses through his first 9 games in Conference USA, you're probably thinking, oh, they're a first place team because they don't ever lose at home. They don't ever lose at Liberty Arena. Well, they're 500 there in conference play, and so that's been the real reason why they're not in that conversation for first and second at the very moment. It's the reason they're in this kind of logjam here at third place, and with how big the logjam is, one bad game can literally send you tumbling from third place to into playing on the first day of the conference tournament. And so winning these home games are going to be crucial, especially in an environment that's been rather comfortable for Liberty since it's opened. In these last 5 home games that you got, you probably need to go 5-0 to feel comfortable about getting a top 2 seed.
Do you think this is a 2-part question about their depth, as we're with Bryson Gordon from newsadvance.com? Do you think the second half struggles mainly come from the lack there? Richie McKay is running a short bench. And do you feel like it's a must get of those top 2 seeds in order to win the Conference USA tournament, or would you still have faith that they at least can win the tournament if they're like, let's say, the 3 seed or the 4 seed, just because they have the ability to shoot the ball, get hot, play good defense, and like they're able to beat probably any top team in the conference?
Yeah. First on the depth, I think what you kind of have with this team is you literally, this is what you have with this team. And believe it or not, I actually don't think that's the problem with the second halves. I think it's kind of just a thing of other teams are starting to figure out whenever they're down against Liberty. And Richie McKay said this yesterday, so it made us all feel a bit better about feeling this way, I guess. But whenever Liberty's down, teams become really aggressive against them, and they start using their guards and they start running downhill and they start targeting Caden Matheny and Colin Porter and pick and rolls and getting switches on guys that they feel like they can get comfortable and easy matchups with. And so teams really change how they play once they get down against Liberty in the first half. And Liberty's, led or been tied at every single halftime of Conference USA this year. And so I think teams are noticing something whenever they go to that play style that's been successful. And whether that's Liberty getting tired late in the games because their guys are having to play, 30 minutes. I don't think that's the case. You get especially on Thursdays, right? Liberty gets the benefit of 5 days off before every game on Thursday at this point. And so I don't really see them being tired on the Thursday games. Saturday, maybe you can make a case when they're on the road. I don't think in general that's something that's bothering them. I think it's just a fact of teams are figuring out ways to exploit their defense, which I think is interesting whenever you start seeing teams for a second time, because they're going to start doing a lot of that stuff. On the conference tournament note, I mean, it is huge for them to not have to, for them to be a top 2 seed, because you get to skip that day, right? For them to win 3 games in 3 days, that's when you're really getting into a situation where all 5 of your starters and Talon Peter, who plays, probably more minutes than some guys that start at this point, when you think about the minutes that Owen Aquino has gotten in recent games, you're looking at 6 guys playing 30 plus minutes a game, probably in 3 straight days. That's tough. I mean, it's really tough in an environment where every game comes down to the wire, basically. Also, so the benefit they could have in the second half is maybe win some of these home games, comfortably, and get your guys some rest. But I think, having a top 2 seed is going to be such a huge advantage for them in Conference USA, because you get that first day, you get a day to relax and recover, and then it's just a sprint the last 2 days. You could, I mean, any college basketball team, these kids are 19, 20 years old. They can handle 2 games in 2 days. So a huge difference between having to play that third in succession and having to play and having that day off.
Bryson, thanks so much, man.
Yep, no problem.
That will do it for the morning warm-up. Warm-up on VTRN Sports, 93.3 FM, W227 BG Timberlake, and 1320 AM WVGM Lynchburg.